Hey fam, Daniel here and welcome back to Whole True Apologetics, where we seek answers to tough questions. Well, we began a hot topic last week. The topic was on abortion. And we looked at last week specifically, what does the Bible say about when life begins and why is that important? So we looked at that. I encourage you, if you missed that video, go check it out. This week we'll be looking at what does science states about when life begins and why is that important. All right, now I'm going to be arguing that both biblically from last week and scientifically from this week, that life begins at conception. The life begins at conception. Now, this is not just a religious point of view, all right? That's what I'm going to be showing today. This is not just a religious point of view, but it's a biological point of view. It's a biological point of view. For the fetus itself meets all the requirements of what a human life is. It is a human life, all right? And we're going to be showing that today. And in fact, all the genetic material needed to become a fully grown human are present at the moment of conception, are there at the moment of conception. Now, let me begin by stating or just quoting some pro-abortion or pro-choice people and what they have to say about the life or the fetus within the womb. All right, just a couple statements. This is by Faya Wattleton. This is one of the longest reigning presidents of the Planned Parenthood. She stated, "I think we have deluded ourselves into believing that people don't know that abortion is killing." It's a straightforward statement. All right. Next, by Peter Singer. All right. Peter Singer is a philosopher and he's a pretty public advocate for abortion. He stated this: "There is no doubt that from the first moments of its existence, an embryo conceived from a human sperm and an egg is a human life." So he's not questioning that there's a human life within the womb. He's just going to be arguing, as we'll look another time, that we should have the right to end it. Now, outside of that, we also have biological textbooks, all right? Biological textbooks that continually show that life began at conception. One example is by Kenneth L. Moore. He has a book called, this is in 2016, called The Developing Human, Clinically Oriented Embryology, 10th edition. In that and many other biological textbooks, continued through the ages, have shown that life itself begins at conception. They're not arguing for pro-life, pro-choice. They were just showing that biologically, life begins at conception. There's one statement out of one of these textbooks by Bruce M. Carson. He states the time of fertilization represents the starting point in life history of the individual. The life begins. All right. The National Geographic years ago put out a documentary type thing called In the Womb. And in it it stated that the two cells gradually and gracefully become one. This is the moment of conception, when an individual's unique set of DNA is created. A human signature that never existed before and will never be repeated. Did you hear that? Talk about how there's a unique DNA created at conception that's unique to an individual, to a life at conception. There's many medical experts that also show this. One example is Dr. Alfred. He states this, and could you check it out? He states, "I have learned from my earliest medical education that human life begins at the time of conception." So what I want to point off right away is that biologically, it's shown through even pro-choice people, textbooks, biological textbooks, medical experts, as well as National Geographic, that life begins at conception. This is not a religious point of view I'm pointing to you guys, but I'm pointing to a biological point of view that life begins at conception. It's important to point out, and I just want to lay out just some basic development, the weak basic developments, because I want to show that it's not just a clump of cells within the mother, all right? But it itself is an individual, unique life. All right, so I'm just going to run through very briefly just the development. All right, I'm going to touch on a few things and show that it's not just a clump of cells, but rather it is an individual, unique life. All right, the first stage, which we talked about, is conception. And at conception, you have the 23 chromosomes from mother, 23 chromosomes from father, come together to form what I've already mentioned, a unique set or a unique DNA set, a unique genetic code to that individual. All right, and this is only its own unique genetic code. That's not the mother or the father. All right, that seems to be unique individual from conception. All right. Next, after this, we have implantation. All right, this is the next stage. 8 days after conception, you have where the fetus now implants into the uterus. It has to go there, but there's something interesting that takes place during this time. When this happens, there's a chemical that's released, all right, that lowers the woman's immune system. Why? What's the purpose of the immune system? Immune system fight against foreign bodies or foreign things within the body. That's what the immune system does, right? All right, so the fact is lowering the immune system is so that the immune system won't fight against this fetus. What does that show? That shows that it is not a clump of cells or just the mother. It shows that it is a foreign individual or foreign body within the mother's womb. It shows that it's a foreign body within the mother's womb. In week 3, we have the heart begin to beat. The heart begins to beat just at week 3. And the eyes, the ears, the kidneys, the brain, the limbs begin to develop. Week 4, the brain develops more. Your feet begin to take shape. Week 5, you have permanent kidneys coming along. Week 6, you already got brain waves happening. Week 7, you have hiccups, so the embryo can start to smell. You have fingers and toes and knees develop more fully. Week 9, the fetus can now start grasping at things, sucks its thumb, also closes its eyelid. Week 16, the mother begins to start feeling kicks. All right, week 20, the fetus can start feeling pain. Week 22, this is where a child's been able to live. It's been premature births at week 22 and been known to live. All right, all this to show, briefly show, that this is a unique individual, a unique human life in the womb. It's not a clump of cells, but a unique human life within the womb. It's not the mother, it is a body within her body. It is a human life. There's one other thing I want to just point out briefly before we close, is that we also know that it's a life within the mother from our legal standpoint, all right? If a woman is on death row that's pregnant, guess what? They won't put her to death at that moment. Why? Because there's a child in her, and the child should not pay for the crimes of the mother. Interesting. They already know that the life within the womb is a life. Additionally, if a woman that's pregnant is killed and the fetus dies too, the person that is responsible is charged with double homicide. Why? Because they killed 2 lives, the mother and the child within the womb. So what do we see? Why do I point those out? I point those out to show that life begins at conception. Biblically, we looked at it last week, but this week I've been just showing that scientifically, biologically, life begins at conception. It's not just a clump of cells, but it's a unique individual, unique human life. Atheist Christopher Hitchens once stated, "As a materialist, I think it has been demonstrated that an embryo is a separate body and an entity, not merely a growth on or in a woman body." So we see that is unique life within the woman. Unique human life that should be protected and celebrated, because human life is valued and created by God. Well, we're going to be looking at more next week, but we just see right away that from both the biblical point of view and the biological point of view, that life begins at the moment of conception. The life begins at the moment of conception. We'll hope to see you guys next week, as we're going to be dealing with some objections to what I'm talking about. Hey family, if you found this video helpful or challenging, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share this video to anybody and everybody you know.